Okay. Hello, we're back with Swords of Theringia. This is, I guess, episode 4, but we're actually play session 3. And with Rod Anderson and John Hastings. Rod is playing Yalu, the master musician, and John is Hamze, the deposed beggar king.
Well, we'll see about that deposed part, but yes.
Yes. Okay. So at this point, Yalu had made contact with Old Tarsh, who is I guess you could say a lore keeper of the beggars community. And before we go any farther, Yalu had naively instituted a contact with the old instrument that he has been questing for. And after the session was over, I realized I should have had a humanity check for that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what's your humanity?
Currently, where did I put that one? Should be still 5. Yeah, 5.
Okay, so if John, would you roll 5 dice and
Sure.
against that, and we're doing a down check. So if John wins, you lose a point.
Okay. My high die is an 8.
Okay. Sorry, just like I'm on. That's frustrating. My usual online die roller isn't working for me, sorry, and I forgot to bring physical dice in here. But just so you know, I'm on a inferior internet connection right now because my allegedly superior internet connection is intermittent, so I'm having some trouble with that. And this is okay. I just have to go get physical dice. This is not working.
Okay, we'll pause for a minute.
I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, you have to record. Okay. So I got a 10 on my,
nice.
on my 5 dice.
Okay, so no humanity loss. All right. So Yalu, Old Tarsh has agreed to take you into the Undercity and lead your way through the maze down there. The first objective is the Yellow Catacomb, where he hopes to find this hallucinogenic fungus that he prizes. And what kind of preparations do you want to make?
That's a good question. I believe myself entirely in Tarsh.
Well, let me remind you, you had this vision of the Hall of the Yellow King,
right?
Which is this ancient place with pillars and bas relief sculptures on the wall and painting that's been really faded, and of course it kind of glows with this kind of luminescent lichen that grows on the wall. And but there's a sarcophagus there that looks like a big stone sarcophagus with a heavy lid.
Okay, so I might want a crowbar. And some, I guess, just use the usual treasure hunter pack of like crowbar, rope, and a lantern or something like that.
Oh, wow, sounds like a good idea. Do you carry a weapon?
I assume I would say I have like a small sword.
Okay.
Sort of a scimitar type thing, probably.
Yeah. Tarsh has a long black staff that has kind of a gnarled end on it that kind of looks like it's the head of a creature, but you can't quite tell.
Okay.
All
Actually,
right.
maybe I have more of a Compture type thing to lean into the Egyptian, kind of like hooked.
The hook
sickle
sword. Uh-huh.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. Leaning back on your origins. So, anything else you want to do before you head out?
Nope. Let me just double check that decision. Let's let things fall where they may and go into this hole in the ground. After all, I do have to be the first.
Ah, yes.
Time's a wasting.
You're worried about Attis showing up?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, screen share.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. Oh, I like this.
So, Tarsh leads you to some back area in the more maze-like parts of town, and you go to the back of an oil shop that sells olive oil and things like that. And at the back of it, you find a trap door that leads down to buried structures from anywhere between 300 to 1,000 years in the past, as the city seems to have been built successively on top of different palaces and different locations and different mansions. There've been open underground spaces that the underworld people have connected by mining between them. And then there's things like there's also a sewer system that connects things. And the occasional catacomb that kind of where people have been buried that you come across. So old Tarsh takes you through this area, and he's leading along, and about an hour in, the light, the only light you have is the lantern that you brought and the one he brought. Yeah. And you're getting into an area where you come to a well, or a pit. Like, it's a huge open space. It looks like it might have actually been a natural cavern that leads down into the darkness. And there is a very makeshift rope elevator. It's got a wooden platform with rickety wooden sides and creaky old winch, and a rope that looks like it's half frayed. And so we have to go down here.
Okay.
And you descend into the darkness. And as you descend, you pass a couple of other side tunnels, and come to so it's only about 50 or 60 feet down, but that's quite substantial in the dark in this. You come to the bottom, and it's all wet, and I'd like you to make a will roll, please.
Okay. I think that's my 5. Yeah. I've got 5 dice. I've got, it's not great. My highest is a 6.
That's okay. My highest is a 4.
Okay. If your highest was a 4, then I have 4 successes on that roll. So that's 6, 5, 5. If that's relevant.
So
what exactly is this about?
You and old Tarsh look at each other, and it's like, you look at him, and did you hear that? And he's looking at you saying, did you hear that? And it sounds like scrabbling sounds way off in the distance.
Okay.
And he says, know you of the rat swarms that haunt the lower depths.
Okay. I will say I have heard well of them, but I am not afraid of them, for it is well known for old stories that rats are enchanted by beautiful music. And then I will begin to sing as we proceed. And what I am lobbying for is perhaps for because I had 4 successes on this will roll, I would like to somehow roll those over into another roll to sort of directly handle this situation. I don't know if that logic feels
Okay.
sounds
Okay.
to you, but in any case, that's what I'm doing. I am singing to sort of mesmerize or enchant the rats. And in terms of like what I'm thinking in terms of mechanics, like, in the sorcerer rules, any sorcerer can command any demon is my,
hmm
with a will roll. And so that's what I'm leading up to possibly doing as a way to deal with.
Check. Let me figure out what rules we might be engaging here.
Okay. I'm just talking about, oh, let me get, I'm going to grab my copy as well.
All right. Well, how about we go for contain ritual?
Sure.
So
I like the sound of that.
you had 4 successes. You add that to your lore. That's the number of dice you get.
Okay, so I only have a lower 1, but that is 5 dice because of the
Mhm.
success. I do have a 10.
Okay, set that aside. What's next?
Well, I don't like the sound of that. Next, I have a 5.
Okay. So I have 2 successes on you.
Okay. Well, that's too bad.
So you start, you're singing along, and you can feel that you can sort of hear in the various dark passages you pass, and out behind you, there seems to be gradually gathering of skittering and screeching as old Tarsh leads you and says, "Go this way and take this path." But you have this feeling that there is a bunch of little beasties closing in on you. What are you going to do? It's twisty and turny with lots of little alcoves and things.
All right. Well, I think the rats here may be critics of music. We should hurry.
You should maybe what?
We should perhaps run.
All right.
That's what I did.
Okay. So make yourself a stamina roll.
Okay. Better. Highest is a 9.
My highest is a 9.
Okay. I have 2 8s.
I have 2 8s.
Why? All right. I have a 2.
A 2 next?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you're running along, and Tarsh is trying to steer you in the right direction. And actually, he would not have a lantern. It'd be much better if he had his cane, his staff, and his torch, because I wanted to have the torch flaring around. And you turn a corner, and you see just in the darkness, and you hear this squeaky, 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 and the floor seems to be like bounding and moving, coming like a river towards you in the darkness. And from a side corridor outbounds a young man with a torch and a sword, and he starts swinging the torch at the rats, and he says, this way, and he leads you into a side chamber.
Okay.
You want to follow him?
Yeah, I'll follow him.
Okay, you do that, and he slams a door,
Okay.
and you find yourself in what appears to be an old tomb that has been fitted with an iron door. And you look up, and what you see Zahir, the emir of Shadrazar.
Oh, I see. Your Majesty, how strange to encounter you here.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Let's shift over to Hamza at this point.
Okay.
So you have penetrated the beggar's kingdom, and at this point you've driven off the first wave of people that were sent against you by Buzur. At this point, you could just march through the main door, or the main entry of the hall of the beggar king.
Yeah, and I was thinking about doing that, but I think actually I thought of something maybe more dramatic. I want to, like, I'm hoping, like, I like drove those guys before me, so hopefully they're gonna go back and kind of like spread the word that I'm coming.
Mhm.
And then what I want to do actually is at the last, use my kind of knowledge of how, of like the kind of the throne room or whatever, the meeting area, to not go in the front entrance, which I had been thinking I was going to do, but instead kind of come in through like a secret side entrance and kind of like appear among, like, kind of appear in a surprising place.
Okay.
Sort of like after these guys have already kind of, that's what I'm thinking, that they're going to like spread word of I'm coming, and then I'm going to kind of go in incognito, even using the using the, I'll make use, ask Gisu to cloak me, or to make me seem just like a peasant, so like that I don't appear as myself.
Okay. What about Farid and the maid Ida?
They can come with me. I think I'll kind of bring them. I can bring them with me.
Okay. So you want to
'cause-
take a side passage and come in through another entrance?
Yeah, and not looking like myself, so that I can like make a surprise. Like,
So what kind of corridor do you want to enter from?
I don't know. Like, I imagine that I have access, or I know of like a, even like a secret, I don't know, like a secret entrance, or like something that like exits into like an alcove or something that I can kind of pop out of. And
Okay. So yeah, you make that side trip, and you are going down approaching a secret entrance into the throne room, where you know that there is a secret door that has a peephole in it, where you can look out and see what's going on. And you come around the corner, and you hear a sharp intake of breath, and a figure moves in the darkness. What do you do?
I'm going to try to reach out and restrain them before they can call out.
Okay, make a stamina roll.
Okay, what's my? Gotta check my stamina again. It's like 3 or something. Yeah, 3. Okay. 7. Yuck.
Oh, well, that's better than mine.
Okay. Well, there we go.
What were your numbers, by the way?
761.
761. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So you come out. This figure moves in the dark. You come around the corner. You grab their wrists, and suddenly you're face to face with Ashara, and she's looking
good.
at you, going. She's got
great.
a little dagger in her hand.
So I'll pull it. Yeah, she probably is. It's like almost like trying to thrust it at me, and I'll kind of turn it away in time and recognize, kind of recognize her. And this is
At which point she throws herself around on you and hugs you.
yeah, I think I was thinking about this. I'm torn because now that she's here and I have the potential to kind of get her out of here safely without a confrontation. I think I actually want to do that. I think I want to kind of like get her to safety. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a change of plan, huh?
Yeah. Once again, like I'm a bit fickle, but I think seeing her there and realizing that, like, not relieved, because I still got to deal with Bazaar. He's a turd, but I need to. Yeah, I don't want to like leave her hanging, and I don't completely trust Farid and her maid to kind of get her back through the underground and out of here. So I'm gonna, I'll turn to, I'll turn to them and say, we must retreat. We must. I must, Ashara. I must make sure you're secured. I have many. I know of many rooms in the city where you will be safe.
Okay.
And knowing you are safe, I will be free to, take vengeance against those who would oppose us.
Well, that's, of course, my love.
Yeah.
And Farid says, it's going to be dangerous leaving. They're going to be looking for us.
I'll say, I am, there are passages I know that I never, that were told to me that I know that I never shared with Bazaar. I kept many secrets to myself, Farid. We will have no problem eluding Bazaar and those loyal to him.
Okay, so you're going to turn around and take an alternate route through the Undercity.
Yes. Yeah.
Out of there. All right. Let's see if you get in trouble on the way out.
Yeah, sounds good.
As you're traveling, Ashara will explain that, when you didn't show up, she decided to go looking for you. She heard rumors. She actually, shall we say, charmed her way into someone revealing this secret entrance to her. And nothing untoward. It's just flicking your eyebrows or its eyelashes and doing things unbecoming of a proper Shadrazar maid. So if you would roll,
familiar with her entreaties.
You roll your cover.
Okay. Ooh, just 7 again. Is my top 7.
Okay, well, I'm afraid I got an 8. I have to pause here. Hang on, I'll be right back.
No problem.
Okay, so you take some turns into the Undercity and leading Ashara, her handmaiden Ida, and Farid,
Fareed, yes. Yeah.
into the Undercity, and you get this really creepy feeling that there's something going on, and then you start hearing scrabbly, ratty, swarmy noises, and you guys start making choices that you wouldn't normally make, and you find yourselves fleeing from a squad of a swarm of rats, and you come around a corner, and far down the corner you see a couple of some lantern light and some torches, and then you hear a door go slam and the light goes away. What do you do?
We'll try to go after that. I like the idea of a door, trying to get a door between me and these rats. So I'll try to go for the door.
Okay.
But I'm keeping an eye. I mean, I'm keeping an ear. I don't want to let. No, I want to be somewhat gallant. I'm gonna go for the door, but I'm gonna have Fareed go ahead with Ashara and her maid, and then I'm gonna rear guard to make sure that
Okay.
if the rats come, they come for me and not them.
How are you going to? What is your approach? I mean, it's just physical.
Yeah, I'll say Fareed to the door, and then once we get to the door, we'll try to just open it.
Okay, but how are you doing rear guard action?
Oh, rear guard.
Are you like
I'm just
drawing a sword? Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have my sword out, and I'll be I think yeah, I mean, I'll just have my sword out, and I'll be like, kind of paying attention, just so that I'm coming up, I'm taking up the rear. I don't think I don't think I'm doing anything else but that.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a stamina roll, or maybe a cover roll.
Okay. Like do you cover first, or do stamina?
I can start to see where you might get a bonus from your cover. Tell me how you would justify that.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Familiarity with rats?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, yeah.
Okay, so roll your cover first.
Okay, there we go. A 9 and 8 for 1.
That sucks. I rolled 1 dice and I rolled a 10.
There you go. So I'll just do my 3 stamina again.
Okay.
Wasting time. 7 is the high. So these guys are gonna get me.
Okay, so the rats are flooding along. You can see that they're about to overtake you when Fareed pulls you out of the way and says, "Go, go." Now, are you going to leave him behind, or are you going to
leave Fareed behind? I think I might, but I don't. Not in front of Ashara, so no.
Okay, so now what?
So I'm going to stand. I'll stand beside him, and we will. I'll stand beside him with my sword out. I want to. What is it? Can I wonder if I can. Let me see. So I think I'll need to call in Gisu's help here to help me go after this, attack these, these rat creatures.
Okay.
So I'll say Gisu, many more secrets will I reveal, but we must get through this
All right.
together now.
Okay. So you're calling on
give
boost
your
stamina, I imagine.
give your strength to my sword arm, and
All
we
right.
will disperse these vermin.
Okay. Now, meanwhile, Yalu and Zahir and Old Tarsh are inside the other side of a door when they hear hammering on the door and a woman's voice yelling, "Help us! Help us!"
Okay. I'll go to the door and open it carefully with my sword in one hand.
You see Shara, the daughter of Attis's master.
Okay. I'll open the door fully and let her inside, or maybe.
Well, she's looking back and she says, "My companions, my love," and down the corridor you can see the two guys standing squaring off with this oncoming flood of rats.
All right. I'll look back at Zahir and Tarsh as if to sort of, indicate, well, we can't just leave her hanging, can we? And then
You're going to pull her in and close the door.
no. Well, I will pull her in, but I'll sort of nod to them to hopefully beckon them to come out and help me fight these rats, or help whoever's out there fight these rats. But I will go out and sort of be ready to just chop up some rats with my
okay. So
with my cleaver.
how would you say your character goes about this? Is he determinate, or does he step out with resolution, or is it just kind of standing there for a minute, like and going?
I mean, I would say he's a fairly resolute guy, but he's not super happy about this turn of events. It's more of a like begrudging.
Okay.
Very well.
Okay. Well, so you step out to face the rats with the two other people who are out there, and Zahir, the Emir, of course, will draw his weapon and come out because that's the kind of guy he is.
Nice.
Old Tarsh is going to pull Ashara into the room.
Yeah.
And hang on to the door and see what happens.
Tarsh.
So we have an initial round with a demonic manifestation of a rat swarm, and this is declaration phase. So they're just going to try and bite you.
Yeah.
Bite the first two guys there. So we've got Farid and Hamze. Hamze's called up his extra strength from his cloak.
Yep.
And you're just going to cut at them, or how are you going to? Any special approach there?
I don't think I'm going to do a special approach. I think he's. I mean, I think he fights like with, I see it as, I don't know. I think when I'm fighting like this, I am kind of using Gisu's, I've got like part of the cloak up, part of Gisu like up as, to protect me. And I'm kind of, kind of darting in and out, trying to, so I'm not just completely standing still, but I'm using Gisu kind of more actively as a shield, or as actively as protection, and kind of darting around, poking at them.
Okay.
Nothing different. I mean, that's just it's still the attack.
Well, Fareed will follow your lead. And what does Yalu do?
I think I will like just frenetically hack at the rats.
You're just going to run over for that, okay? And Zahir is going to run up and do a similar sort of thing, but he's yelling, let's make a controlled retreat.
Okay.
So if
I mean,
everybody,
assume that establishes that Hamza can see that there are people here helping him maybe get a path to somewhere else rat free.
oh, okay. Well, do you guys want to change your tactics? This is still free and clear, so you can redefine things.
Yeah, maybe I mean, I still want to hack at the rats, but as my sort of action, but I think I'll like join Zahir and like crying out to, come this way if you can.
So you're trying to establish a delaying action this round.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. You on with that, John?
Yeah, I'll still attack first, and then we'll see what happens.
You want to use your boost.
We'll see. I these rats. I ran from these rats before, or I don't know if it was these specific rats, but I and again, I don't want to. I want to try to be somewhat heroic here.
Okay, let's rock.
Okay, but of course, this is awful. Oh, this is not good.
Well, I have a 10. So.
There you go. Well, that's good. So I've got my highest is a 7 after all. That's
okay. So
sad.
Okay, so what's your highest, Rod?
I have a 10.
You have a 10. What's your next number?
8.
8. All right. So you get in there first. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you do. So you got there first. And I don't think the rats are going to abort their action just to defend. So you end up doing, you have only 110, right?
Yeah, 110.
Okay. So let me remind myself what a melee weapon does.
Yeah, that should be.
One lasting, one next.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So far, the rat swarm has taken 1 and 1 for a total of 2 dice down, but that doesn't affect them until their next roll. The next person to go is actually Zahir, and he also gets in there for another one lasting and one next action on the rat swarm. And then, John, what did you say your high number was?
7.
7. Okay, so we got other people to go. Fareed gets in. Oh, no, he doesn't actually. He's going to go after the rats. So, the rats are. Well, it's weird to have a monster that's a pack acting as one dice roll, but I'm going to go with that and focus on Hamzi.
Yeah.
So yours is a 7?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I've got 3 8s. That means didn't define them as having any special damage. Ugh. I think I'm going to define this as fists damage. So 1 lasting and 3 next action. So you get a total penalty on your next roll of 4.
Okay.
Okay, and that leaves us with Fareed, who didn't succeed at getting anything done. He's just helping. All right. So the rats are giving you a serious problem, but you are holding them in place. What do you want to do next? Let's a new round, new declarations.
How physically close are we to Hamza and Fareed?
Right next to them.
Right next to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like you're in a relatively a corridor that can handle about 2 people side by side. So what you're doing is like poking in between, thrusting in between people's shifting bodies.
Okay.
On a second row. Yeah. Actually, the way that it happened, I think Zahir took Fareed's place in the front line.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think now that I think now that Hamzi's gotten somewhat bloodied from this, I will kind of take Zahir's offer and try to retreat back through the door. And I'll call Fareed with me, or I guess Fareed is already kind of moving back there. So I'll,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll try to stay between the rats and Hamza as he retreats, and I want to just full defense this round.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's see here. Huh. This is actually a good time because you've done 4 dice worth of reduction on the
Right.
rats, which means they only have 2 dice this round. Now is a good time to take decisive action.
Yeah.
So do you want to defend? If you defend, you're not retreating.
Oh, I see.
We could just declare everybody is their next roll is to just retreat and close that door.
Yeah, if it looks like the rats are disorganized and having severe problems, then yeah, I think I'll just retreat as well. Or I'll call for everyone to retreat. While they're quick, while they're scattered.
It's like there's a bunch of rat bodies around in the general reach of where Hamza and Zahir were fighting, but there's obviously another wave coming to reinforce.
Right. So I'll just say quick while they're scattered to the door.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now, I think Hamza's in pretty tough state. Is he going to?
Can I just like
if
grab
I think
maybe-
I can maintain this boost for another round.
Oh, of course. 2 fatigue points.
Yeah.
But I imagine that's not going to become an issue. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just do that.
So, and your choice, John, is your Hamza is also going to make a retreat.
Retreat. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, well, it's not going to be a big deal unless the rats roll really well and somebody rolls very poorly. So, everybody roll.
Well, I rolled poorly again, sort of.
That's too bad.
Okay, the rat's high dice is an 8.
I have a 9.
Mine's 7 again. Sad.
Okay.
Although, with a full defense, do I get more dice for that?
If you're doing full defense, but that means you're not retreating.
Not moving. Okay. Yeah.
No. So let's see here. Let me figure out what I'm doing. Okay, so John, Rod, what was your high dice?
9.
A 9. Okay, so you get an attack in on the rats. What's your next highest dice?
9.
Another 9. How many more?
Then 6 or 6-5 are the next ones. So, and they had an 8, right? So,
Okay.
only the 2 successes.
So let's see. We've got 2 lasting on them so far, and you just did another 2 next and 2 lasting. That was a pretty successful attack. And then who goes next? 8, 8. Oh, okay. So Zahir did pretty well in this situation. He actually scores a total victory over the rats. If I interpret this correctly, he's got the rats have an 8 and a 2. He has an 8, a 7, a 3, an 8, a 7, another 7, and a 3. So if I understand this correctly, we set aside the 8s and then compare. And so his total number of dice exceeds the total number of dice of the rats. So he does devastating damage, driving them back, throwing bodies in the way, and it's supernatural, so it's going to recover. But I think he just saved your neck, Kenzie.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
That sounds fine.
So everybody retreats into the little tomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll be at this point breathing pretty heavily, and even after recovering from the kind of the shock of the rat attack, but the I think the 2 boosts in a row leave me confused, right?
Oh, I didn't remember that rule.
I
think
think
you're right.
that's how it works. Yeah.
And you have 1 or 2 lasting damage.
1 lasting damage.
Okay, so that's going to go away after short rest.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, your sense of this creepy supernatural rat swarm is that it keeps regenerating. There's something else going on that makes it up. Or maybe another way of thinking about it is something supernatural is calling the rats from all over.
That's what I'm thinking. Well, so everyone's sort of now gathered together in the room, right?
Yep, you can
sort of telltale recognition type roles.
I'm sorry. Oh, yes, of course. Now that is lore, isn't it?
It's lore. Yeah, I'm terrible at it. But if Homs actually, recognizes either of us as sorcerer, might change.
Well, I know old Tarsh.
You know old Tarsh, right?
Yeah.
But he's not a sorcerer, right? Or it's
let's find out.
Okay, fair enough.
By the way, I think both of you should get humanity up checks.
Okay. All right. I'll take it.
So let's start with Rod.
Okay.
Roll 5 dice, and I have an 8.
And how about you, John? Can you roll? How many dice is it?
5 dice.
5. Yeah.
You want me to roll against Rod? Okay. I rolled an 8 as well.
What's your next number?
I have a 7.
I've got a 7.
And next number?
6.
I've got another 7.
Okay.
No, humanity increase.
These are my 7
for
dice.
Yellow. Okay, now John, it's Hamza is rolling his humanity. What is his number?
My number's 3.
Okay, Rod, would you roll 3 dice?
Okay, my highest is a 6.
Oh, I got a 9. There we go.
All right, there you go.
So you get your humanity increased for
Nice.
not abandoning a comrade.
Okay. Nice. Strength. Cool. Well, I got something out of it. But I'm like, so yeah, so as I'm in this room, I don't know, maybe I imagine like Ashara coming over to see me, but I don't know.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't know what she would do, but maybe she would be over.
If you're, she'll even like daintily treat your wounds
And and once I kind of come out of the confusion, and I'll see, old Tarsh, and I will
Oh, Hamza was boosted this whole time, right?
yes.
Like, what is that? That's like openly supernatural, right?
the boost.
Like,
No.
yeah, I mean, you can't.
Well, he looked pretty powerful.
Right, right.
Oh yeah, you were asking about lore checks.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but I
but
mean,
isn't it against cover? I can't remember how you detect telltales. Is it against lore versus lore, or is it lore versus cover?
I think
forgot.
we can
Let's pause while we check the rules. So if you want to see if you pick up on the other person being a sorcerer, we'll start with Rod by rolling your lore, and John rolls his cover.
I rolled a 10.
A 10.
What
What you got?
But-
No, I don't have a 10.
Yeah.
I'm asking a question. My
Okay,
highest
so I
is
have a-
6.
I have a
Oh,
10, but
yeah.
my one die. All right.
Yeah, there's actually, if he's rolling one dice and rolls a 10, you can't win. John.
No, yeah, I've got 6s.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyway, okay, so if you would repeat that description that happened while I had the video.
Oh, sure.
paused,
Yeah, so I
about
think
what
that
the cloak looks like.
Well, I think the cloak looked like Gisu in boosted in battle, like kind of is the cloak itself is moves like not in a fashion that makes sense considering if it was like actual material. So it expands in times and contracts and is sort of like is flowing in a way that it isn't related to like the air currents or even my movements. It sort of seems to have a life of its own. But my telltale that you would notice is or what draws your attention to I think would be my archaic speech that I'm especially for my appearance, like using kind of this older dialect of that other people aren't using.
Okay, so then you get to roll your lore against Yalu's cover.
Yes. My lore was 3, right? Yeah.
Yours.
8.
I have an 8.
I've got an 8.
I have a 6. So.
We've got a 6.
Wait.
I've got
Okay,
8, 6,
you have
6.
2 8s. You have 8.
I have 8 and then a 6 and a 6.
Okay, so I have an 8 6 4. So
Okay.
you do indeed spot my.
Wait a minute. Oh, you have a higher lore than I remembered, Hamza.
Me? Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got 3.
Ah, okay.
I'm a 3/4/3 character.
Okay, so what is Yalu's telltale?
It's it's the scar. It's the scar on his chest. Where a conjoined where a conjoined twin was removed at birth. The sort of portentous.
So in the middle
Ominous
of the fight, your jersey opens up and exposes this bizarre scar on your chest.
Yeah. Right. And sort of recognize it as a birthmark of strange earth. Anyway, you get the idea. So.
Okay, so other things that happen while you're having a sip of wine from Zahir's wineskin, and
So at this point, we're just hanging out in a tomb, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
there's this scrabbling going on outside the metal door.
I'll acknowledge old Tarsh, but I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to like, talk more. I'm not going to like open up about knowing him well or anything like that in front of people I don't know. So, but I'll definitely like acknowledge, I'll give him this, an acknowledge, he'll know that I'm, acknowledging him and giving him the respect that, he deserves, but also that I don't want to talk in front of.
He gives you the nod that you recognize as a nod of respect.
Yeah.
Zahir says, "What brings you here?" What brings everybody here? I mean,
yeah.
I ran into both of these groups. What's going on? Why do we happen to all be in the same place?
Yes, I propose each of us tell our tale in turn, since we are effectively travelers in sharing a strange fireplace.
What do I want to say? I want to I'll say, I'm trying not to be, I don't know if I can, I don't know if it's possible to say something like this without insulting Ashara, but I'm not trying to be insulting when I say this, but I'm going to say like, this lady, sought, sought some adventure and stumbled down into these corridors, and we these corridors, and we came after her to bring her back to safety. But alas, my knowledge of these the twists and turns down here failed me, and we ended up we ended up, as you saw us, retreating from that that entity that I have that seems to now be haunting, to be haunting these halls.
Okay.
The lady cried out that her love was in danger. Is there no more dramatic tale to tell?
I don't. He kind of shoots. I think he'll shoot Yalu like a glance. I don't know. He doesn't like that.
Okay, here I want you to roll here,
Okay.
because first I want to. If you want to keep it under wraps, you're going to roll against Ashara's 2 will for her not to make a comment here.
Yo, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I got a 10 there.
Okay. Well, so she looks on a little perplexed, but does not say anything. Meanwhile, and what's a 10, and then what else did you get?
10, 8, and then 2 3s.
Okay. 10, 8. Does Yalu have any skepticism here, or does he just not care about this, whether the truth of this or not?
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed.
Make your
Hamza
will.
is obviously lying, but I don't think I'm going to push him. Make a what roll?
Make your will roll just to get a feel of what's going on here.
Well, I have a 7 as my highest.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so it sounds like both Zahir seems to be accepting this without much concern, and Yalu doesn't have any particular reason to suspect, other than his romantic projections of what should be going on here.
Yeah.
So then
Material.
So that's Hanze's story, and so that's been generally accepted. Shara is staying quiet for whatever reason you want to keep the secret, but okay. And do you want to speak about what you're doing, Yellow, or do you want to
Yeah,
wait
I
for
will.
Zahir?
I've been pretty public about
Mhm.
my whole deal, so I will just describe the story in full, but also add that I'm for my quest. Haste is especially important, as I fear. Like, I'll describe Addis sort of sneaking around and poking into my affairs, and say, so I suspect I have a rival who seeks to find this instrument before I do, and it's for that I want to make haste through these halls.
Interesting. Zahir will then say, "I too seek the hall of the Yellow King," and he pulls out a package that appears to be made of cloth of gold, and it's about this big. And he says, "As you probably remember, my father, the Emir Mazur, died several years ago, and then my uncle took over and ruled quite poorly, and was eventually died under suspicious circumstances. I have, through various ins and outs, learned that my uncle lured my father into the Hall of the Yellow King, where my father died, and in horrible circumstances. And the divinations that I have heard indicate that he haunts the Undercity, looking for revenge, but not knowing why. So I have brought my uncle's heart as a propitiation to the spirit of my father, and I need only find his body, which I hope to find in the Hall of the Yellow King. So we seem to have joint purposes here, or at least the musician and I do.
Certainly, and we all have the joint purpose of getting out of this tomb without being devoured alive by rats. I think we have seen that I'll sort of address Hamza and say, I see that you were a man of certain powers. Since we're safe in here and have time to spare, is there not some sort of, I don't know what I would say, is there some sort of spell you can cast to rid us of these rats? I'll help in any way that I can.
Yeah.
I mean, Yalu, being naive, doesn't directly think of himself as a sorcerer, but I think Hamza knows that he is. Right? So.
I think that Tarsh will step in here and say to Zahir, it sounds as if your father's spirit may be what is summoning these monstrous swarms of rats. And should you be able to, in this case, it may be impossible to permanently stop them unless you find and propitiate the body of your father.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll speak up and say, as you, as you came to us when we were in need, I will turn to Zahir. I will pledge to stand by you in your, in your quest, and especially if the old one is right um, in saying that this will rid these halls of these creatures.
And Ashara would say, certainly you're not planning to face them off again. There must be some other way out of this.
But it does well. I think I could. I will say. I can concoct a stratagem to weaken them, so that we may better deal with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you wanted to talk mechanics, I'm looking at punish.
Yeah, I'm going to punish these.
And I think I can help you because will is my good stat, and that's what punish runs off. So I think maybe we could
Okay.
do a sorceress cooperation here.
Okay, so here's looking between the two of you, and sirs, you begin to sound as if you have dealings with the black arts.
I'm merely a singer. All I propose that I do is pacify the rats while our friend works his magic.
And I'll just say I have I kind of shrug at the black arts thing, but I'll say I have learned many secrets of the Undercity, and there are ways to when creatures when there are creatures who should not be but yet are here.
Mhm.
There are words and phrases that will call to mind their true masters of the old ones, and it will send it will cause them fear. It will cause them fear and distress to hear those names.
A speaker of powerful words.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
I hear down here trying to give a heart to a ghost, so I don't think he has a thing.
yes. Well, I should make a side comment, is that he might call it the black arts, but they're not seen as incredibly evil as they would in a Christian culture, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Or this isn't even an Abrahamic culture, so
Yeah.
it's just got a little bit of the Arabian Nights feel to it.
Yeah.
So I think actually I would like to have our session end today here.
Okay.
And then next time we'll start with the strategy for dealing with, removing yourselves from this room and getting to the Hall of the Yellow King.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. Any
Very cool.
comments or anything that you want to make at the end of the session that you can record?
I'm curious. You had a conversation with Ron in the thread about coincidence a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so do you think that helped you in terms of getting us together in the
Yes,
underworld,
absolutely.
having it that sort of makes
Absolutely.
sense, right? Yeah, as an
There
orchestration.
were two moments when I made decisions based on coincidence. One is that I already decided that Ashara had found her way into a secret passage, so that when John decided to go that way, he just ran into her. The other one was when he got lost. I thought it was a perfect time to have him encounter the same demonic rat swarms and get you guys in the same place.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's interesting because I had certainly when I was running the sorcerer game that you were playing in, I was struggling with the basis for making those kinds of decisions. I was really sort of stuck on this idea that I had to I was a little rigid, and I feel bad. I kind of feel like I didn't serve Rashid especially well in that game, because I was kind of rigid about his character getting to interact with your and Sam's characters. And so I think over the year, I guess, that's passed between those, and especially with playing a lot of the pool, where there's nothing else for you to do than make these kinds of decisions.
Mhm.
Not nothing else, but you can't proceed
A
without
big
making
part.
those kinds of decisions.
Yeah.
I think that's helped a lot with me feeling
Oh.
okay. And I think I've seen other people I've played with kind of go through that kind of
Yeah.
phase where
I
they're
do.
uncomfortable making those kinds of calls.
Yeah, it's been a matter of practice for me, and I do want to add that today I had not decided that I would bring you together. I just realized that there were some opportunities
Yeah.
I mean, before we started playing, I had identified some opportunities, and I didn't actually expect to get Hamza and Yalo in the same place.
Right.
I thought that Zahir would show up, and I was perfectly happy to have you guys go on parallel
Right.
adventures without ever crossing the tracks again.
Right.
But that moment, it just seemed to be a perfect choice.
And given that we were both having problems with the rats, like I had not succeeded in evading the rats, and then there it seems. So,
yeah, it makes it a very pulpy Howard-esque story.
Yes.
Oh yeah, perfect. No, and of course you would not, if it feels perfect. It feels like, oh, of course they're gonna meet together with the rats when the rats are chasing them. And exactly what would happen in the story, or I mean, you can completely imagine it. But yeah, I think kind of being open to the felicitous turn of events and saying like, well, why not use this to kind of bring things together, is this, there's no reason not to.
The other component of what was going on here that helped with that is that unlike the game that Rod was GMing, where we were in different locations on the map, and there was definite identification of time and place, and with some great distance. The whole Undercity was just this conceptual experience, right?
Kind of
So
tight.
there was no, I don't have a map where I'm tracking, well, they're over and 10 miles away over here, and you're over here. So I get to play with that
Right.
in a different way. Yeah.
I think there's yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's
I mean, you could
cool
argue for,
but it's
like, you could go either way. Like, if you had a map, then there are certain advantages to that, but then there's certain things that maybe foreclose.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, and still we have maintained player agency, because had Hamza not made a decision to do what he did when he found Ashara, things would have gone differently.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's something I even thought, like, and as I usually do when I play Sorcerer, I find that I do not, I mean, it's especially true with Sorcerer, but it was also actually, I think, true actually in James Bond as well. But and it's been true in the pool game that I'm playing with you, Rod, but my sense sometimes going into, like, oh, this is what my guy's going to do this session, if I think about it ahead of time, once I'm actually in that moment of decision, it's like, wait a second, that's not what he's going to do. And I have a very strong feeling of like, no, it's going to be this, which I had tonight, which was because last session I really ended with this idea of like, he's just going to walk right in. But then tonight I was like, wait, no, that's not what he's going to do.
Then I can see how that would be written up in a Conan story or something, Hamza realizes,
Yeah. That's very cool. Yeah. It's interesting stuff. Yeah, cool.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay.
Well, I'll stop the recording anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.